you for joining me. Welcome to this week's edition of Business Incorporated. I'm Chimezie Obi Iwawu. The federal government has reeled out some sets of measures aimed at tapping the potentials of the insurance industry. The Finance Minister and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, announced the policy direction at the recently concluded National Insurance Summit, organized by the National Insurance Commission in Abuja. She said the federal government's vision to grow the sector will come in 3 phases. This week on the program, we will be looking at these visions as announced by the federal government in growing the insurance sector in Nigeria. We will also look at the challenges the sector is faced with and the potentials it has to grow the Nigerian economy. My guest on the program is the Director General, Nigerian Insurers Association, Mr. Thomas Olorundare. Do stay tuned. We'll be back shortly. The role of insurance in the growth and development of any economy cannot be overemphasized. It mitigates the impact of risk and positively correlates to growth as entrepreneurs cover their exposures. Otherwise, risk-taking abilities are hampered. This sector is said to represent the backbone of Nigeria's risk management system, ensures financial security, serves as an important component in the financial intermediation chain, and offers a ready source of long-term capital for the infrastructure projects. With a recent drop in oil prices and the economic challenges in the country, experts say a strong and competitive insurance industry is said to be a compelling imperative for Nigeria's economic development and growth. It is for this reason that the National Insurance Commission on Monday, December the 8th, organized a National Insurance Summit with a theme, Transforming the Nigerian Insurance Sector, a 3-year agenda. The Minister of Finance, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who delivered the keynote address at the event, admitted that while the economy was currently experiencing challenges, a lot of monetary and fiscal measures have been put in place to put it back on track. She said unleashing the latent energies of the insurance industry to create more jobs and boost economic development is one of the strategic responses to close the gap created by the economic challenges confronting Nigeria at the moment. The minister reeled out some sets of measures aimed at tapping the potentials of the insurance industry. Let's listen to her.
I had laid out a vision with 3 goals. 1, to triple gross written premiums from 300 billion naira today to 1 trillion naira by 2017 and 4 trillion in a decade. That's the challenge and the vision that I'm throwing to you. To triple the number of policyholders from the current 3 million today to 10 million by 2017 and 30 million in a decade. And 3, to triple the number of direct jobs in the industry from 30,000 today to 100,000 people in the next 3 years and to more than 300,000 people in a decade.
The vision is in 3 phases. Let's take a look at them again. To increase the sector's gross written premiums from the current 300 billion naira to 1 trillion naira in the next 3 years, that is 2017, and to 5 trillion naira within the next 10 years. The second part of this vision would be to deliver more jobs in the industry from the current 30,000 people to 100,000 people in the next 3 years and to 300,000 people within the next decade. For the third part of the government's plan, according to her, would be to widen access by growing the number of insurance policyholders in the country from the current 3 million policyholders to 10 million policyholders in the next 3 years and 30 million policyholders in the next decade.
Critical landmark in the regulatory history of the insurance industry took place in the year 2007, when the Commission increased the minimum capital base to 2 billion, 3 billion and 10 billion for life, general business and reinsurance businesses respectively. This led to reduction in the number of insurance companies from the then 103 companies to 61 and reduced the unethical competition that threatened the industry at that time.
Participants at the summit, however, maintains that to harness the potentials of the insurance industry, there is need to collectively address several challenges facing the sector. We'll take a break now, and when we return, we will look at some of these challenges facing the insurance sector, the sector's potentials, and the federal government's plans to grow the sector in the next decade. Please don't go away. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. I'm now being joined by the Director General, Nigeria Insurance Association, Mr. Thomas Olorundare. Thank you very much, Mr. Olorundare, for joining me on the program.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Right. You were at the Insurance Summit. Now, looking at the present state of the economy, we have seen the devaluation of the Naira and the challenges the economy is being faced with now. More importantly, the dwindling oil price. Do you think this summit is timely at this time? And where does insurance come into play in all of this?
Yeah, thank you. The present state of the economy is not a thing that one couldn't have seen come before now. But I want to believe that the present administration seems to have seen it ahead of time, and therefore they have put measures in place which will make the impact less felt by citizens. I will tell you, for example, the issue of having to widen the revenue base and not to be oil and gas dependent has been on for a while. So I want to believe that what we are seeing now will be the benefit of those decisions that were taken some months or years ago. But to talk about insurance, it's in times of uncertainty like these that insurance thrives. So it is expected that when we have things like these, the need for insurance must come to the fore, both by the corporate and by the individual. When the more the level of uncertainty, the more relevant the need for insurance. So in our policy decisions, both at the government and the corporate concern, we must now want to throw up the need for insurance so that what we cannot immediately provide for the future, let insurance pick up those risks.
All right. Now, looking back, how would you assess this sector, particularly since the 2005 recapitalization?
Well, the recapitalization of 2005, which happened when, incidentally, I was still a regulator then. I was in the National Insurance Commission. It did happen because there was a need to increase the capacity of the market, essentially, to retain more of its businesses, and also, essentially, to be able to deploy other means of driving the sector. As at 2005, the presence of technology or the deployment of technology in the market was at a very low level. But we will have seen what has happened between 2005 and now. The recapitalization that started in 2005 ended in 2007. In 2007, we had a total premium of about 100 billion. And in 2013, this has increased to about 300 billion. But even we had the 300 billion, that is still scratching the surface. But I must say that, of course, the reform, as it happened then, had impacted on the level of performance of the market and its ability to perform its role as a financial intermediary vehicle.
All right. Yeah. Now, at the just concluded summit, we had the finance minister come up with three-pronged agenda.
Visions.
Oh, okay, what she called vision, actually, towards bringing out the potentials of the insurance sector, one of which is to increase the sector's gross written premium. That's from current 300 billion naira to about 1 trillion in 3 years. That's in 2017. How achievable is this?
Well, I'm sure some numbers must have been put together to arrive at that vision. If you look at the statistics, what are the drivers? What are the growth drivers of insurance? One of it is population, what we call demographic features. Nigeria has it. We have a population of over 170 million, with over 70 million adults who, I will say, these are insurable. People who can go, who are doing one form of thing, one thing or the other, and who can really acquire or put their money in insurance. But today, we are talking of less than 3 million. So the gap is too wide. So all we need to do between now and the next 3 years is to see how we can bring in. And there are a lot of things, a lot of initiatives that is on ground. One of it is this summit. With the outcome of the summit, there's a way of trying to reposition every aspect of the insurance sector, or those things that can drive insurance. And that, I believe, if we pursue it to its logical conclusion, should lead us to attaining that 1 trillion. It's achievable. It's quite achievable. Again, I must tell you, there are 6 compulsory insurances. How well are we doing in those places? What is the extent of enforcement? If we take all this into consideration, that definitely will assist in achieving the 3-year agenda.
Well, I mean, that brings me to one issue that sometimes kind of bothers me. Quite a good number of people, with the exception of some companies and a few individuals who understand and appreciate the importance of insurance, a lot of people don't think it's necessary in their everyday dealings and their everyday business. I wonder why.
Now, I want to put it this way. The question, the issue we are raising now is that a lot of people, they are not seeing why they should invest in their future. That's the way it is. Because you see, essentially, insurance, in most part of the economies, most economies, they are not usually appreciated. But ours is totally in a worse state. Because if you look at the total number of people that have one form of insurance and the population, then you know that there's a lot that we can do better. But